You are listening to the podcast of the Mathias Corvinus Collegium, the largest talent management institute in Hungary. If you want to know more about our mission, please look up our English website at mcc.hu/en or check out our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter channels. For interesting articles and analysis of our professors, external contributors, and students, look up our knowledge base at corvinus.hu/en.
Hello, everybody. At the microphone today, we have Dr. Fekede Tuli, who is from Ethiopia, and he is a guest here at the MCC Learning Institute. I am Joanna Williams, a visiting fellow at MCC. Dr. Fekede Tuli serves as an associate professor in the Department of Curriculum and Instructional Sciences at Kotebe University of Education in Ethiopia, and he is also in a leadership position, Vice President for Academic Affairs. His educational journey began with a B.Ed from Kotebe College of Teacher Education, followed by an M.A. from Addis Ababa University. His dedication to lifelong learning led him to pursue a PhD in education at Roma Tre University in Italy. We're going to talk about education in Ethiopia this afternoon. Developing countries, including Ethiopia, differ significantly from developed countries in economic, social, and infrastructural terms. The majority of Ethiopia's population live in rural areas, which, according to 2020 data, this is more than 75% of the population. In contrast, the rate of urbanization in developed countries is much higher. In many cases, more than 80% of the population live in urban areas. In Ethiopia, more than 60% of the workforce works in agriculture, which is generally at a subsistence level. In developed countries, the proportion is much lower. In many places, below 5% of the population work in agriculture. Ethiopian agriculture has a low level of technological development and little mechanization and irrigation. Natural challenges caused by weather, such as droughts, severely affect production. In developed countries, agriculture is more efficient, better supported, and less vulnerable to the weather. It will be very interesting to explore how this has an impact upon education, if indeed this is relevant to education. So please could I begin, Dr. Tuli, by asking, what do you think are the general challenges that face education in Ethiopia today?
Thank you, Joanna. Actually, our education system faces several challenges when it comes to this development. And one of the serious challenges that we are currently facing is there is a learning crisis. Actually, though it is a global phenomenon, ours is a bit severe. Students are attending school, but they don't have foundational skills like basic literacy, numeracy, and that is one of the serious challenges. Another challenge that we are facing is the issue related to teachers. Especially we are currently facing shortage of teachers, and the training that teachers receive is inadequate. And there is also no worthwhile continuous professional development for teachers. In addition to this, teachers are really not enjoying respect, and there is also low morale for the teachers. So we are really facing critical shortage of teachers at the moment. On the one hand, students are really not interested to join the profession. On the other hand, even those who are in the profession are leaving the profession. So teaching profession is considered as a bridge occupation for the majority of the people. Another challenge is issue related to curriculum and pedagogy. The world is, especially if you look at the global context, is really moving very fast. Things are changing. Look at the technological advancement and the issue of globalization. So new skills are emerging every day, and the previous ones are really obsolete. So given this context, the changing and challenging context, we need to re-innovate our pedagogy. We need to revise our curricula, but we failed in this regard. So the curricula is really not equipping students with the required tools to thrive in today's very changing and challenging world. Another challenge that we are facing is issue related with resource and the facilities. The school education really needs resource. It's a kind of resource-intensive sector. So there is insufficient fund for the school system. Because of this, we are really not in position to provide, to transform the school environment with its required facilities, laboratories, digital technologies, and so on. And another critical challenge is the ongoing conflict in the country, which resulted in, about 7 million students are out of the school because of this ongoing conflict. So student dropout is very high, and it's a challenge that really needs a serious intervention from the government. So these are some of the challenges that we're facing. Another very important, again, is issue related with governance and leadership. There's a weak leadership, and it's not up to, it's just focused on the administrative part rather than, leading learning, which is a fundamental mission of any educational institutions. Student performance is also declining, and not only declining, the achievement gap is still wide when we compare urban to rural, when we compare gender, and when we compare private and public schools. The achievement gap is still widened. So these are the challenges that we are currently facing in Ethiopia with regards to the education system.
No, thank you. That's very, very interesting. Can I ask, in the UK, for example, people will know that we divide schools into primary schools for children up until the age of 11, and then secondary schools where attendance is often compulsory now until the age of about 18, definitely 16, and then most children stay in school, in education in one form or another until the age of 18. They will take formal public exams at the age of 16 and again at the age of 18. How does that compare to Ethiopia? What's the basic structure of schooling that you have?
The structure of our school system is, 6 years of primary school, 2 years of middle schools, and 6 years of secondary school. And, when students complete grade 6, a national examination was organized by the Ministry of Education in a respective region. When students successfully pass, for instance, at grade 6, a national exam, they go to grade 7. Again, we have a national examination system at grade 8. And finally, we have a national examination system at grade 12, which serve, to filter students who join to the university or to the TVET or to the labor market. Mm-hmm. This is our current structure.
And can I ask, what proportion of children in Ethiopia go to school then, and what proportion actually complete at grade 12? And finally, how many people or what proportion of young adults do go to university?
Okay, when we just check the total number of population who are currently attending the education, it is very close to 30 million in the school system. which is maybe larger than the population of some country. 30 million is a lot. And primary school completion rate is low, especially it was believed that almost 20% of students drop out before joining middle school. Again, when we compare, the pass rate of grade 12, only 5.4, for instance, the last year data indicated that only 5.4 students pass the grade 12 national exam and got the opportunity to join the university. So this really indicates that there is a high wastage in the system. So internal efficiency is in a critical problem. And when challenges, the issue of accountability is very important in this case. If the fundamental mission of any school system is to ensure learning for every student coming to the school system, we need to make sure that every school is accountable to make sure that students are really learning and achieving well.
No, definitely. So when you were talking about the challenges facing education in Ethiopia, you mentioned about the conflict that's going on in the region and how this keeps lots of children out of school. But are there other reasons why children don't go to school or why children drop out of school once they've started?
The problem is, there is a conflict ongoing in the northern region and the western region, which cover maybe a large geographical area. So because of this conflict, some schools are destroyed and they are not really serving as a school unless the building and the schools are rehabilitated again. And another important issue, students really flew to other safe regions because of this ongoing conflict. And as a result, even the government data indicates that about 7 million students are out of school at the moment because of this ongoing conflict. And it is sad to hear that. This 7 million, imagine 7 million students for maybe 2-3 years out of school because of this conflict, which is currently ongoing. And this will really jeopardize maybe the human development effort of a nation, especially the Ethiopian nation. On the one hand, we are living in an interconnected, globalized world. On the other hand, we are really not in position even to ensure that students are learning. So it's a kind of paradox, and it really needs a serious, intervention from the government side to make sure that students are really attending the school.
No, absolutely. Are there any projects or schemes to help adults who missed out on school to help learn basic literacy, basic numeracy, maybe if they did not attend school, that they can learn these skills as adults? Is that possible?
Yeah, we have different programs at the moment currently implemented by the government and also by some international NGOs. For instance, we have alternative basic education program for those type of adult. We have also functional literacy program for also adults who really miss the opportunity to go to school. So there are some intervention. Another program is we have also a speed school program for those who really miss the school. We condense curriculum and then just offer them so that they can complete 3-4 grades at 1 year. Those are some of the interventions that are currently ongoing in the country.
Mm. And amongst the population as a whole, maybe not in the areas of conflict, I understand people will have other much more important priorities in the areas where there is a war going on or conflict raging. But in other areas, is there an appetite for education? Do people want to learn? Is there a culture where people see education as being important, perhaps that it might open up a better opportunity for their future, or is just something important in itself?
This is actually a tough question. My personal observation and engagement with the parents and the community with regard to the value of education, I can say that education is devalued at the moment. In one case, the issue of unemployment is rising. If you stay in the school for maybe 20 years, let's say, and end up unemployed, it sends the message that education is no more relevant. This is one. Another critical issue is with regard to especially the value of education is the skill students acquire and the skill the labor market require deviate from one another. And this is also another critical issue. For instance, some believe that what is the importance of going to school if you don't have the required skill from the university, if you end up in unemployed, what is the meaning of just wasting those all years by going to school? Those are some of the issues that really surfacing the mind of every parent at the moment. So this is where the issue of, curricular reform, pedagogical reform really come into the questions, because things are moving very fast. And every day there's new skills, new knowledge, new attitudes emerging, and the curriculum need to, continuously revised in order to embrace the changes and the which we are witnessing in the global and national contexts. But our curricula fail to do so. That is why it sends a message that education is really not this much important. It's really sad to hear this kind of scenario from the community.
Absolutely. Our final question then is really, when you talk about curriculum reform, what type of curriculum would you like to see in place? What changes would you like to see to the curriculum, perhaps to make it more interesting or more relevant, so that parents do begin to see that this is something that's important? What changes would you like to see made?
Yeah, the issue is, even our current approach to curricular development is we just focus more on content loaded, and it's shallow in terms of depth. One issue is we need to reverse this. For instance, our current curricula is, it's a kind of kilometer wide and centimeter depth. And we need to reverse this approach. We need to really cultivate transferable skills, foundational skills, which can be applied to any context, regardless of the issues, the problems. For instance, the skills like adaptability skills, digital literacy skills, and so on. So our curriculum need to reflect the current dynamic and skill-intensive world. If our education failed to produce students with, the required skills for the labor market, I don't think we really need a school. If it is not responsive to the global and national context, I don't think we really need schools. So that is where we really need to continuously reform the curricula so that it can reflect the ongoing changes, the ongoing challenges, and both in the national and the global context. We have to embrace the new developments, the emerging technologies, and we have to also map the skills needed by the industry, the skills needed by the labor market, so that we can integrate those into our curricula in order to produce the human resource that the labor market really needs.
No, thank you very much indeed, Dr. Tuli. You've given us a fascinating insight into the problems and challenges that you're facing in Ethiopian education. But also, I really hope that you're successful in bringing about the reforms to the curriculum and that hopefully the future will be a much more positive place for the children of Ethiopia. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Joanna, for having me.
Thank you for listening to this MCC podcast episode. For further media content, please look up our English website at mcc.hu/en or look for us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you want to read more by our professors, external contributors, and students, check out our knowledge base at corvinus.hu/en.